The Mushroom Kingdom might seem happy and charming, filled with friendly toads and cheerful characters, but underneath its bright colors are some dark and sinister secrets, enough to keep a plumber up at night. I'm Keefinosi with One Up Binge, and today we're looking at the darkest things we've found in Super Mario games. A small note to start, we're limiting to one dark moment per game, and this time the spin-offs will be included but narrowed down to one moment per franchise. Let's get started. To start, we have a classic Easter egg here, with the mysterious ghosts in Mario games. And now, we're not talking about boos, we're talking about humanoid ghostly figures that keep popping up in these games. In Super Mario Galaxy 2, in Shiverburn Galaxy, if you look up and to the side, you can find some weird-looking ghouls staring at you. If you look at their file names, they're called the Hell Valley Sky Trees. In Super Mario 3D Land, if you go all the way to the end of World 4-4, if you wait around, you can find a ghost slowly popping up into view. And once more, though harder to see, if you look through a clear pipe just right in Super Mario 3D World in the Great Tower of Bowser Land, you may be able to see these ghouls looking at you. As creepy and iconic as these ghouls are, they're really just Easter eggs that are easily missable. As unnerving as the idea of being watched by these weird beings can be, they don't really do much besides that, and you really have to be looking for them. Plus, they can be seen in WarioWare Get It Together in the microgame Weird Windmills, where they're seen as curious giants happy for your success. Could these figures just be fans of Mario and his adventures and just enjoy watching them? Maybe, but who knows? Maybe one day they'll enter the spotlight of a game. Still, there's a classic enemy that's even scarier, the Phantos of Super Mario Bros. 2. These masks are among the first of their kind in video games. At first glance, they're just masks that float around in the air. However, once you manage to find a key, that's when they come to life. They come flying after you no matter where you are as long as you still have the key. When this originally came out, this was definitely a startling scare for newcomers, myself included. However, with all the jump scares of the modern gaming scene, like with Five Nights at Freddy's jump scares, the mind tricks of Amnesia, and even things found in newer Mario games, these masks are not only outmatched, but have also been around for a while for most gamers to know them. We saw their tricks done before and in even more scary environments. The next entry is a bit of a stretch, but we had to include it for how iconic it is. Next up is Super Mario Land 2's commercial, Obey Wario, Destroy Mario. Back when we didn't know much about Wario, when this new threat came to the world of Mario, we were wondering just how he could interact with Mario. In the game, we only see him walking on the roof of the castle he stole from Mario and sitting on his throne before fighting him. However, the backstory was Wario flat out hypnotizing the residents of the island to beat Mario and accept Wario as their new master. And we can see just how Wario does that in this commercial, and it's certainly unsettling. In comparison to other standard game commercials, Wario's face is front and center, trying to hypnotize the audience into making Mario fail his game.
Obey me, Wario. I am your master. Mario is your enemy.
We wouldn't blame anyone for thinking he was going to be Mario's newest recurring villain outside of Bowser. Of course, nowadays we know that he's just some greedy treasure hunter who, when money is taken out of the picture, isn't that bad of a guy. However, back in the day, we wouldn't be surprised if this gave kids nightmares. For our first boss of the list, we have Super Mario Sunshine's Phantomanta. There's no sugarcoating this. This is a beast straight out of Stephen King's The Shining. Just like in the book, it's a paper-thin looking shadow of a manta ray you fight in the Manta Storm mission. Coming in from the sea, you'll have to spray water over it to get it to split up into smaller and smaller pieces of itself. Eventually, after destroying half of the manta rays, it'll begin targeting you directly, swarming you and forcing you to keep hovering above them. While this setting may not be that nerve-wracking, just being a friendly tropical resort, it's still unnerving for any first-time players, or Stephen King fans who read the books and also play Super Mario Sunshine. To see something more in your face, next up is melting Bowser's skin in New Super Mario Bros. Yeah, Mario's first 2D adventure on the handheld has quite the gruesome way for the main villain to die. Now, we all know the standard way to beat Bowser. Knock him into the lava, be it by cutting the bridge with the axe at the end, hitting a button that makes the bridge go away, or by hitting Bowser with enough fireballs. Then we repeat for the next game, same final boss, same company hardware. Here, however, something changes. Instead of just going down without many theatrics, here, Bowser's visibly struggling for his life. He even pops up all just as bones as he still screams for his life. And after that, he's dead. No magic tricks, no disguises. Bowser's legitimately dead for the majority of the game.
And we say bye-bye!
Bowser Jr. even has to resort to using a magic cauldron in the final boss fight to bring Bowser back to life. It's a jarring change of pace, to say the least. If you're not a fan of spiders, you'll hate this next section. Next up is Muncher Marathon from Donkey Kong Country Returns. Level 5-8 has DK and Diddy Kong entering a level covered in cobwebs. Going more and more into the level, you find more spider egg sacks around the place. Then you have to break 2 logs to get to the next part, and with those loud smacks against the ground, the eggs begin to hatch, and the level gets overrun with spiders. Your objective effective, run. If you get caught by them, it's an instant loss of life. You're constantly running through this level, rolling and knocking into walls and crushing pillars, all the while those spiders are always chasing after you. Even during the ending part, they still don't let up, filling up a giant tree stump with spiders that can break the barrels you launch from. For anyone with arachnophobia, this level is an absolute nightmare that will leave you shaking whenever you feel something brush up against your skin. What was that? Oh, it was just my hair, it's okay. From something so small to something so frickin' tall, our next entry is the Ruined Kingdom Dragon of Super Mario Odyssey. This beast is something that has no build-up whatsoever. After adventuring through a colorful land of veggies and talking utensils, Bowser shows up with this giant dark Bahamut-looking dragon that shoots you down with lightning. The Odyssey crashes down into the Ruined Kingdom where you have to beat this giant monster under Bowser's control through that helmet on his head by unlodging it while dodging his lightning strikes and ground-pounding his head. The location and dragon themselves look far removed from a traditional Mario game. It honestly looks more like a Dark Souls location, and the lore in the location brochure isn't helping matters. This is a kingdom long since past its prime with a civilization that harnessed lightning through a tower. However, with claw marks around the place alongside repeated lightning strikes destroying this tower, it's hinted at that the civilization was trying to fight this dragon, the Lord of Lightning. Usually Samus has to deal with long-forgotten civilizations destroyed by a dragon, not Mario? We're at the halfway point of this list? Well, we better hurry up! And Wario Land 4's Hurry Up song is perfect for this. The soundtrack for this game is already surreal, and when you combine that with the song that plays telling you to haul yourself out of the level you're in, it gets intense fast. Unlike It's Pizza Time from Spider-Man 2, Pizza Tower, where it's at least a funky kind of panic, Hurry Up is absolutely haunting throughout the whole way. Ticking clocks blaring at you telling that your time is up, church bells ringing out as you're losing money, all the while synthetic sounds are blasting at you in ominous long beeps, adding on to the panic as you have to traverse a different path back to the start. And when you drop onto the switch directly in the Golden Passage, all the rules go out the window as you run around in a panic trying to find your way out. So yeah, you'd better hurry up if you want to stay alive. Upgrading from a whole song to a whole level, we have Big Boo's Haunt, representing Super Mario 64 and its DS remake. Alongside revolutionizing the way Mario series can play, it also revolutionizes how horrifying these newfound locations can be, and Big Boo's mansion is the groundwork for Mario's foray into horror locations. Landing at the foot of a giant mansion, the music is less cheery, there's this wind blowing past your ear, that is, save for the creepy carnival music in the basement. Around the mansion itself are spiders ready to jump on you, and inside are boos laughing at you whenever you try to fight them, and when you beat them off, alright, summon a giant killer boo in the lobby. There are also books that fly off the shelves and chairs that are possessed and fly right after you. Trapdoors, coffins, and fake paintings all litter the manor. In the DS version, there's even a hidden room where you can unlock Luigi by navigating through a maze that takes you to a boss fight against King Boo, pulling a reverse of the original Luigi's Mansion by kidnapping Luigi from Mario to save. However, the most infamous part of this infernal place is that damn piano. It looks like a regular prop at first, but if you get too close, it springs to life, mashing and chomping its piano key teeth up and down as the lid flies open and shut in a frenzy. The DS version even adds a tongue for the inside, because why not? It's definitely the cause of many sleepless nights, and Mario 64 cartridges remaining uncompleted by players. For another side game scare, WarioWare, of all games, comes in with its game mode Gamer. Playable in-game and Wario and its counterpart in WarioWare Gold, Sneaky Gamer, the mode stars 9Volt playing his games after dark when he should be sleeping. This immediately establishes him as a relatable character. However, it's not an easy thing to do, thanks to 9Volt's mother 5Volt constantly checking in on him. From randomly barging into his room through the door to checking on him through the window, it seems like these are just standard tactics, but they can get even weirder. Faking out the player by going off screen only to double back and slam the window open, having the TV turn on with multiple channels before she pops out of one, and even lifting up the entire table the TV is on. Needless to say, this can lead to players getting quickly on edge and spooked by her. Sure, there are more laughable events that could play out to fake the player out, like Frank being the one to open the door, a sock puppet being on TV instead, and even 5Volt just watching TV for a bit or falling asleep on duty, but this all serves to keep the player on guard, especially as, thanks to 9Volt's energy being used up whenever he's faking his sleeping with 5Volt not in the room, every last bit of energy is useful. Not only that, thanks to Get It Together, it's confirmed that 5Volt's gray form is some sort of sleep demon that she uses to keep track of her son when he sleeps, and that using it tires her out, meaning that she stays asleep for longer, letting her experience out-of-body experiences. Ironically enough, she probably caused more sleepless nights than prevented. But to see an even scarier form, get ready for Fury Bowser. Bowser is already a pretty menacing force when he tries to be, like in Super Mario Galaxy 2, with him becoming big enough to try and devour the entire observatory, putting the Lumas and even Rosalina at severe risk. It's just balanced out by him being a goofball and scatterbrained leader, mostly led by his anger and love for Peach, even if she doesn't return the feelings, and Bowser Jr., what would happen if he let loose, ready to completely accomplish his goals? Well, we have Fury Bowser as the answer to that. In Bowser's Fury, Bowser is coated in the black tar-looking substance, corrupting his mind and getting him focused on one goal, and one goal alone: kill Mario. No matter who he has to hurt or scare, even his own son. Now the size of a skyscraper and as big as a city block, he's beyond furious at Mario, shooting you down with laser beams of fire, giant spikes from his shell, jumping around with surprising prowess, and giant hailstorms of fireballs. Bowser has both brawn and brains in this form. The location also doesn't help ease Bowser's fear factor, as whenever he's about to activate, the cheerful music slows down as rain picks up, and when he finally arrives, it's a raging thunderstorm as the music becomes a heavy metal song. And when you have 47 cat shines, Fury Bowser is here to stay until the final fight. Mario is utterly defenseless against this form until he dons a Giga Bell power-up of his own. It's definitely a surprisingly tense situation for our cheerful plumber to find himself in. Turning the lights off just before the top 3, we have Luigi's Mansion's Blackout. Now, throughout the original Luigi's Mansion, you're fighting ghosts and vacuuming them up. Obviously, rooms with lights on are not popular places for ghosts, so as you clear out more and more rooms, the lights stay on to make them safe for you. However, here, all that is promptly ripped away from you. When King Boo gets angry beyond belief at you, he decides to turn the lights out on you, shooting a lightning bolt at the mansion which forcibly turns off all the lights. Everything you thought was safe is thoroughly destroyed, as you're left with even more ghosts than there were before, having to either vacuum them all up or make a run for it. You're then tasked with going room to room, trying to find a room with mirrors that could host a boss ghost who's guarding a key for the breaker room to turn the lights back on. For the Mario series' first trip into a horror genre, it's definitely a game that manages to deliver. In the bronze section of our 3 spots, we have one of the vilest Mario enemies, the Shroobs from Partners in Time. These aliens invade the Mushroom Kingdom, planning on using the place as another location to fuel their species, as they did to their own planet. Invading the Mushroom Kingdom in the past, they kidnap Peach and commandeer her time machine, going to the present as Mario and Luigi are forced to go to the past to save Peach and beat this menace. The Shroobs' crimes include destroying a village during a Christmas party and distorting the place into a Nightmare Before Christmas-styled nightmare, dropping a giant bomb on the Mario Brothers to instantly knock them out, using toads as energy for their ships by sapping them of their energy and turning them into actual mushrooms, having a giant alien monster kidnap Yoshis by eating them to turn them into minions for the Shroobs, and even using Petey Piranha to try and have him eat the princess and a friendly Koopa girl. Despite this invasion seemingly being a way for them to survive, they keep chanting a single phrase throughout the entire game, which is revealed to be destroy. They're pretty much mindless killing machines, only set on making sure that their species thrives without regard to anything else. And the damages they do cause paint them as pretty monstrous, especially the Princess Shroob who's pulling the strings, and the elder Princess Shroob who tricked the Mario Brothers into almost freeing her and is willing to use her own subjects to attack Mario, Luigi, and their baby selves. They belong more in sci-fi horror games rather than Mario's franchise with how destructive they are. Just falling a bit short of being the darkest Mario moment, we have the destruction of the universe at the end of Super Mario Galaxy. Now, Galaxy is already a game far more epic in scope than any other Mario game. Mario's in space now and is fighting giant robots that can smash him, airship armadas, and visiting countless worlds never thought possible before. Bowser, meanwhile, is busy trying to use his galaxy reactor to create his own galactic empire. So yeah, the scope is increased from the usual save the princess affair, to say the least. However, after the final boss fight, Bowser finds himself at the center of his galaxy reactor, melting down as all he can do is stumble around and curse Mario out. Eventually, however, it explodes and creates a supermassive black hole, swallowing up the entire universe. It looks like the end of the series, had it not been for the Lumas sacrificing themselves to the black hole to be reborn as new planets and galaxies. If this ending is surprisingly dark and confusing, don't worry about it, others feel the same way. From what is shown, the entire universe pretty much just did a reset, meaning we more or less saw the entire destruction of Mario's universe. Had it not been for Rosalina and her Lumas helping out, odds are pretty good that that would have been it for the series. It's definitely one of the craziest endings a Mario game could ever have, even if everything does appear to be fine in the end. For the number 1 spot, we don't have a single moment, but an entire game. That's right, for number 1, we have the entirety of Super Paper Mario. Yeah, we're placing the entire game here. There are just too many individual moments that if we were to choose them all individually, this list would be mostly Super Paper Mario moments. The journey starts with Count Bleck forcing Bowser and Peach to marry, creating a marriage so vile that never should have happened, it creates the Dark Heart, an artifact capable of destroying worlds by summoning a void, a purple swirling cloud visible no matter where you go. Not only is it world-shattering, but by it being created by a marriage that never should have been allowed to occur, it destroys any possible reason why Peach should marry Bowser, and that's before the gameplay even starts. It's even more horrifying in action. pack your bags for the most horrifying Mario experience yet. Come visit Chapter 1, where after realizing Mario was friendly, our living court jester Dementio brainwashes the Desert Guardian Fractale into attacking Mario, forcing the plumber to kill him to free him from his misery. Stop by Merly's mansion to be chased around by our mimicking contortionist Mimi, who can turn herself into a spider to chase down and attack Mario alongside a creepy laugh. Visit the Bidlands in Chapter 3, where Tippy gets kidnapped by a lizard nerd. Okay, this area is actually pretty nice and bright, all things considered, but with everything else here, a break is surely needed. Now, go to outer space in Chapter 4 to escort an orphan alien prince back to his dead mother's statue. Meet the Kragans in Chapter 5 to help free them of their brainwashing and bring peace to a war between them and the Florosapiens, who are dying out thanks to pollution. Chapter 6 is closed down due to the fact that the void grew too large and destroyed the entire place, leaving behind a lifeless white space. It is basically a world of nothing. After witnessing the residents of the world realize their demise and accept it, let our court jester Dementio entertain you by flat out killing you and your friends and sending you to the underwear, where you need to go for Chapter 7. Climb up to the over there and watch as the mother and father of an angel called Loveby accept the fact that their daughter has to turn into a pure heart to help you save the world. Finally, stop by the castle of the ringmaster Count Bleck and watch him come to terms with his past of watching his girlfriend get cast away from him and turn into a multiverse-level destroyer out of grief and madness from the Dark Prognosticus, realize his folly, and try to get Mario to kill him, only for Dementio to take control and almost destroy the entire multiverse. Do be sure to stick around for our wedding, where Bleck and Tippy reaffirm their vows and use the pure hearts to destroy the Chaos Heart and save the world at the cost of their own lives, of course. Yeah, a good handful of these moments can easily make a convincing argument for being the darkest Mario moment ever, let alone the top 5. In the end, this game is pretty much bursting at the seams with dark ideas and imagery never before seen in a Mario game. For all the insanity found here, we have to just group the whole Super Paper Mario game together and stick it up here as Mario's darkest trip ever.